What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to the Chapel Cypher Collective.
Y'all ready?
I'm your man, Good Son.
It's your boy Vic, Mr. Victory.
Yes, sir, and we getting it in, man. Faith, flow, and fellowship. Look, again, this is the inaugural couple of episodes of the podcast. And look, we want to give a shout out to Lit Podcast Studios, my man Heavy D, and we coming to you live, man, from the 313, none other than Detroit City. So look, we gonna continue to get it in, man. This is our part two. We chopping it up with my man Vic, talking about his upbringing and coming into faith. And so, you know, we were kind of segueing into how you started to transition in your faith as well as a Christian artist, right? And so can we get like a little background, like as far as a Christian, what even got you into the Christian artist space?
I was at work, man, and this dude, Bashari Jones, shout out
Bashari. Yes, sir.
I had wrote a poem, and he was like, man, you ever thought about doing gospel rap? And I was like, man, don't nobody do that. That's corny.
Corny, right.
I was like, man, you better get out my face with that, man. But it stuck with me. So I'm driving home, and I'm like, God, if you want me to do gospel rap, because I was already a secular artist. So I'm like, God, if you want me to do gospel rap, you're going to have to give me my first song. And that night, man, he gave me my first. Matter of fact, I got so blowed that day. I mean, I was in the 10th heaven, and I came home, and I was flicking through the channels, and LaRue was on TV.
Wow, shout out to LaRue Hill, man.
LaRue was on TV, man, and he was doing his song called The Hookup.
The Hookup.
Got that HOOKUP, you say.
Hey, that's a joint.
And bro, it blew my high. I was mad. It blew my high, bro. So I was sober, like. And then right after that, lyrics just started flowing.
Wow.
So I wrote the lyrics down, and from that point on, I was, and I ain't even have a name.
I was about to say, was you always a convictor? He said, I'm going to be the convictor.
No, man, I didn't have a name. So I went with Ron and them. Shout out to Ron Cook. We went to Joe Dumar's. They was having the Christian thing at Joe Dumar's, and he was like, you want to rap? You want to rock out? And so this was the first time that I had did clean rap. So I'm nervous, like I'm shaking like Don Knotts, bro. And they gave me the mic, and the song that God gave me, I started flowing it. And it was, man, the adrenaline and the feeling that I got was so electrifying.
Yes, sir.
That, I was like, this is what I want. And so the Agape Tribe was like a Wu-Tang. So it was other artists, it was a lot of us. And it was this guy named Jamaz. Shout out to Jamaz. He was good at giving people their names. And so he listened to this. So the first song that I wrote was Whose Side You On?
Okay, I was about to say, I thought it was going to be like, rapping for Jesus.
No, so it was Whose Side You On? And my last verse was like, it was real. This was the beginning of my convictorism.
Convictorism, that's a word, y'all.
Because I went through, I named several denominations, and it was like, this is crazy. And after the song was done, he was like, you the convictor. And I was like, yeah, I like that. And so I rolled with it, man, and I've been convicting ever since.
Oh, no, that's dope, and I can attest to that, right? He's been the convictor since conviction, right? I mean, for real. But yeah, so that's dope. So Agape Tribe was like Wu-Tang. That's kind of almost remind me kind of like Cross Movement. Was like a gospel like Wu-Tang Clan with a Detroit twist. So now when you got with the Agape Tribe, at what point did you start recording? Because I know when I came into the picture, the community was already kind of thriving, right? So was y'all recording then, or was y'all just formulating songs? Like, I mean, what was that like being in the Agape Tribe?
We was formulating songs, and the first time I recorded wasn't with the Tribe. The first time I recorded was with Ray Sean the Phenomenon.
Shout out Ray Sean the Phenomenon, man.
Cause he heard me flow, and he was like, "Man, I want him on my track." And so we went to Brother Stone's, I laid my verse.
R.I.P. Brother Stone.
Yeah, bro. And they was trying to throw the gospel Jay-Z on me, and I was like, "Nah, bro, that ain't me."
Jesus, what?
I'm Pac.
Jesus, who?
I was like, I'm Pac, if anybody. But yeah, it was Brother Stone at Brother Stone's studio, and then from there, I didn't record any songs with the Agape Tribe.
Okay.
It wasn't until me and Gerald formed God's Side Connection that we started getting in the studio, spending the night at the studio, man, and like it caused a lot of the brothers in the tribe to be salty with me and Gerald.
Wow.
But it was.
I mean, you always. I know a lot of times artists get mad when people gravitate towards certain people. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, cut you off. A lot of times people gravitate towards certain people. And one thing that I had to come to grips with is everybody has a circle, right? You know what I'm saying? Like I know people used to get mad and be like, why you got so-and-so on the show? Or why you got so-and-so? But the thing is, if it's 100 of us doing the same thing and they only have 3 slots, most likely if you got people that do that, you're going to grab your people. You know what I'm saying?
But man, and I don't want nobody to get offended by this, but most of the guys that do gospel rap, they not sure of it.
Can you explain that?
There's a lot of them that's just doing it because they can do it.
Now, are you talking about
but they're
current?
not sure that they was called to do it.
Are you talking about current, or are you talking about even then?
I'm talking about past and current.
Past and current. Okay.
I'm talking about past and current. And the reason that I say this is because in the tribe, in the Agape Tribe, you have 15 guys on the stage, right? And we pretty much doing ciphers.
Right.
And so it always went in a certain order.
Okay. So tell people what a cipher is. The Chapel Cypher. What's a cipher?
A cipher is a collective of artists getting together and freestyling.
Yeah, so just kicking rhymes.
And I mean, it don't necessarily have to be a freestyle. It could be something that you wrote and you got in your head and you just spit it to the beat. You know what I'm saying? So
yes, sir.
Just because we say it's a cipher don't mean that you have to come off of your head.
Hip Hop 101, y'all.
Yeah, so like it used to be 15 of us, and everybody is rocking like 8 bars. And so we started noticing when we would go out and minister that when the other 13 went up, nobody would get with them at all.
Yeah.
And the chorus right before it was time for me to go rock, everybody stood up. Everybody stood up.
Yeah.
And it was like me and Gerald started noticing it, and we like, bro, what's going on? And I'm like, why ain't nobody, feeling them? But I didn't feel that I was better than them.
Right.
And so we went out of town, me, Ron, Gerald, and Bashari. We went out of town. We went to Mississippi, and the four of us was rocking the mic.
Yeah.
We noticed the same thing, that they wasn't feeling Bashari, they wasn't feeling, or let me not say they wasn't feeling them. I apologize.
Bashari, look.
I don't, you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to offend
No,
nobody.
I get what you're saying.
But it was, you know, the momentum of the crowd was not with them.
Right.
And these people didn't know us. They didn't know our format. They didn't know what order we was going in. But the chorus before I got the mic, it was like they just went, you know, bananas. And then when we got off the stage, there was this older gentleman who came and said, "Look at here, young bro. Y'all two, y'all got it. Them other ones, they ain't got it." You know? And so from that, I'm like, oh. And that very same weekend, we met Play.
Yeah. Christopher Martin.
And he was talking about signing me in Gerald.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, that never happened. I don't know why it didn't happen, you know, because he didn't have our numbers. He had Ron's number. So I don't know, you know, whatever happened with that.
Who knows?
But, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, so there's a lot of artists that's out here that's doing it, but they're not sure that they've been called to do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And this ain't nothing to play with, because you have people's lives in your hands. You know, these children that are coming up to the stage when we rocking the mic, they are looking up to us.
Yeah.
And because they're looking up to us, you should take it upon yourself to get into your word, know your word, and be able to minister to these children on and off the court.
Right. No, that's true. So let me play advocate. I ain't even gonna say devil's advocate, but let me play. First of all,
I'm ready.
I get what he's saying, and he's not saying when he said that. Well, I can't speak for him, but I don't think Vic is saying that somebody like a Bashari wasn't sure, you know, because he was around for a minute doing. So one thing that we had to learn, and Heavy can attest to this, when we came in the game, and I'm not gonna make this about me, God's Army was already in the game. Mm-hmm. And I can remember us doing music and me not getting the response I was looking for, right? But as I took notice of God's Army, it was certain things that they did that I even incorporate into this day, right? So a lot of times as rappers, even like I was a huge East Coast rap fan, and East Coast was all about complexity, right? But one thing about music in general, people love catchy hooks. People love something simple that they can sing along to. And if you got a song, after the first time you do the chorus, the second time people get it, like they catch on. And I think some of it is we don't know the importance of song. But what you were saying is important, that we should definitely be authentic. Some of us don't know the importance of song selection, right? So just like if you're in a event and you look out in the crowd and there's nobody but, 40-year-olds and 30-year-olds, you may not want to do "I Chopped the Devil's Head with a Chainsaw." You might not want to do that song, or a mixture of, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But
again,
it's
ministry is, you have to be delicate with ministry. You know what I'm saying? Because ministry ain't about you.
Yes, sir.
Ministry is about him using you. And you can't be so stuck on your playlist that when you have the opportunity to come into a place and God say, I don't want you to do that song,
right,
that you take it upon yourself, this the song that I'm going to do because this the song that I chose.
But that's what I mean about song selection. If you're able to tap into that creativity, then you may have something else. You have to have something to pivot on in order to pivot. And there's people definitely, like if you talk about Gerald, you talk about yourself, whether we want to believe it or not, there's some people, you know, we can say anointed or whatever. There's some people that have more charisma, you know, than other people. You know what I'm saying? And that's in all walks of life. You know, there's some people that people are just drawn to more than others. You know what I mean? And again, that's not to discount what you said. So look, I know time going. So boom, we talked about the Agape Tribe, and then you and Gerald hooked up. What was the name of the group?
God-side connection.
And I wanted to put this out there too, so people would know. What year was this happening? What year was this based on?
I started in 95.
95. I didn't want people to get like lost on that. Think we talking about 2005 or 2010. This is 1995 that we're talking about. So Christian rap was definitely not a huge force. Okay, so now you and Gerald's rocking, and so did y'all ever record anything together?
Yeah, we recorded. We recorded, but you know our stuff was on cassette tapes. You know what I'm saying?
Boys and girls, a cassette tape. You put that into a boom box, a cassette recorder. Yeah.
It was on cassette tape, man, and it was like, you know, we were the gospel gangsters of Detroit.
Yes,
You
sir.
know what I'm saying? I mean,
Shout out Chili Baby.
We going on stage. We got on 3/4 black leather jackets with the Dobbs. Gerald got a bat in his hand, and you know I got whatever in my hand, a Bible, or you know. But we was real hard, and we did shows with Cross Movement, man, and back then Cross Movement wasn't accepting nobody.
Right.
And there was a couple of issues that we had with Ambassador because he was trying to say that our stuff wasn't of God. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it was artists here who had an issue with how me and Gerald got down, because I used to have my children on the stage with me dancing.
Yeah.
And you know, the livestock was like, that ain't a God. You shouldn't have your kids up there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, what? The Bible say train up your child in the way it should go.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I let a lot of stuff, man, that a lot of the artists now don't have to deal with. I took a lot of blows, you know. I took a lot of ridicule. I took a lot of this ain't a God. Or I took a lot of scratching up, you know. I had to do acapellas. And the reason that I had to do acapellas was because they were scratching up the show CD.
Oh, wow.
You
The
know,
people at the church y'all was going to.
Bro, deacons would, man, it was a couple of churches we went into, man. I thought I was gonna have to flex on the deacons, you know what I'm saying? Like real fisticuffs, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You ain't coming up in here with all that. But then after we did our set, they was like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? You know, but that took growth. You know?
I'm a witness to that. I was one of those people that, I mean, it was later on, but definitely one of those people that witnessed the power of what you guys did. You know, not being accustomed to that, you know, that kind of presentation. I mean, I had it on CD, like you're saying, cassette, but never really saw it up close and personal. Okay, so you and Gerald did some cassettes. Any more cassettes? Y'all got anybody got them cassettes?
No.
Cassette.
Man,
Only person I ever got a cassette from was Black and what was my man's name? Rockiano. What was the name of that group? I can't remember the name of that group. Shout out to Black and Rockiano, but I remember having a cassette of theirs. That was the only person that I ever had a cassette of. And so, okay, so fast forward. So how did you and Gerald's group morph into the council? We got about...
Because the council was supposed to be made up of us, Revelation of Life, which was LaDon's group, and God's Army.
Okay. Shout out GA.
We were supposed to be a big crew, you know what I'm saying? And that's what the council was supposed to be. And we did a big concert at Elijah Father's church, but nothing really morphed from that. So we fell in love with the name Council, so we just came together, us five, and we did damage, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, big time. Big time. Gangster. They was gangsters. Look, I didn't find out. I told y'all on that one clip, I didn't find out till, about a couple of weeks ago that Made Men was a Tupac song. That shows you how much of a Christian incubator I was in. I had no clue until I heard Kendrick Lamar's song, and I say he sounded like Tupac. And I started searching out like Tupac, and he had a song called Made Men. All this time, Victim had a song called Made Men, and I didn't know it was based off of that. But it was dope, though. Council was dope. So Council, which was a 5-member group. Now, who were the members of the Council?
Me, Elijah, Diggity, which is Charles, Gerald, which is 3D, and McLeod, which is Rob Lee.
Yeah, shout out to the Council, man. Listen, powerful.
The Council is
powerful.
the crew, baby.
I was impacted. I still got that
Throw them
CD.
C's up.
Right, from the Council. So look, okay, so and we're gonna get into this. I'm sure we'll get into some more about that. But yeah, how many projects did y'all do as a Council?
2.5.
2.5 projects. And they were certified. Listen, when I came in the game, we had to make quality music because they were already making quality music back in the 90s, 2000s. So they set the bar high. I think that's why I'm like I am now when it comes to the way stuff sounds, being around Mike Beautre or being around, Elijah or being around you guys. So fast forward, Council happened. You guys, did a couple projects. And so what made you branch out as the Convictor?
Because there was no more group, man. The Council imploded.
Wow, okay.
And it imploded because we didn't really understand what God was doing.
Yes, sir.
And so there were, there were mixed feelings when Elijah did his solo project.
Yeah.
And so instead of taking care of it in-house, stuff was being said outside of the house, and it got back. So we never healed from that.
Wow.
Because it was like, the disciples, and you got Judas. You know what I'm saying? It never got back after they had the Last Supper.
Right.
And that's pretty much what happened to the Council, man. We still love each other, man.
Right.
But and we've tried to get back together several times, man. But
some differences.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to, and I remember that. Shout out to Elijah, man, and the whole. Hey, but you know what? He was on the run, bro. And that's the thing too. Like you said, being in a group, there's a lot of give and take. Being in the group. So, but you decided to we're gonna have to come back, man, with a part 3 later on, for real. But you decided to launch out because of the group. So basically, you didn't have a choice. You like, look, I'm gonna have to make something shake. And so
no, I was done. I was done after the Council.
Okay.
I was done. I wasn't, because I had took so much heat over the years. I was like, I don't want to fight no more.
Yeah.
And then God was like, I gave you the gift. Who is you to sit down on it?
Right.
And I was like, okay,
Oh,
what I'm
dope.
going to write about? And then I hooked up with Beaudre, and it was like, I think everything that I wrote, Beaudre brought it out of me. Because we was in sync.
Yes, sir.
Like a kitchen sink. That's how,
Shout out Beaudre.
Mike would be like, what you feeling? I'd be like, man, I feel like, I want to ride on somebody. And, he just started putting stuff together. While
Yes,
he's
sir.
putting it together, I'm writing. And I'm
Man.
like, let's do this now. You know what I'm
Man.
saying? Under Pressure was all off the cuff, man.
The maestro. Look, listen, shout out to Beaudre, his wife, his family.
Yeah, man.
I always say, look, if anybody deserved to be rich, it would have been Beaudre. He was definitely a faithful brother, man, loyal friend, and we'll chop it up about Bodre too. Look, and that's a good segue that God pushed, basically, like you said, put the stamp on it that you had to continue in music and ministry, and that was a blessing. I'm glad that you did. I'm glad you heeded his call and heeded, his voice and continued out as a convictor, because we wouldn't be here right now being blessed because of that. So look. Okay, yeah. So we wrapping it up, man, and we just want to say, look, we want y'all to go along on this journey, continue to ride with us with the Chapel Cypher Collective. Again, shout out to my man Heavy D and the Lit Podcast Studios.
Yeah.
If you need, look, if you're trying to do a podcast and you want that professional work, you better holler at Lit Podcast Studios. There's a lot of people out here in the podcast space. Hey, but he gonna get you right. So look, it was a pleasure speaking with my man Convictor. Like I say, eventually we're gonna have to come back with a part 3 and fill in the rest of the Convictor up to the present. Go and holler at the people, Vic.
Hey man, listen, I might have said some rough things in this segment, you know what I'm saying, but I charge it to my head, not my heart. I'm serious.
It's all him. No, I'm just.
I am, I'm serious about, ministry, man. And
Yes, sir.
If I could give you any advice, make sure this is what God has called you to.
Yeah.
Because the beasts that you have to face within this genre, they not friendly.
Yes, sir.
And so you got to know without a shadow of a doubt in your mind that God has called you to this, man, because, it may not be no money. It may not be no accolades. Folks may not notice you, but you never know who your lyrics touch, man. So when you're going forth and you're doing what you do, make sure it's about ministry. Make sure it's about him, not you, because you wouldn't be anything without him. And I think, I'll put a pin in it right there, man. So make sure y'all go to YouTube, hit like and subscribe, and tell your mama and your mama's mama and your granddaddy and your granddaddy's daddy.
Paul them.
Check us out.
Chapel Cypher Collective, y'all. And we out. God bless y'all. Peace.